Well, we know that God is sovereign over all the nations of the earth. He gives authority to kings and princes and presidents and prime ministers to rule, and he holds them to account. And he raises up empires and countries, and he brings them down. He's sovereign over political processes. And we know at the end of time that all rulers will stand before God. Psalm 82 describes this, and they will have to give account for the way that they've ruled. We see that the prophets in the Old Testament, speaking God's word, were not just doing so to the nation of Israel, but were doing it to all the nations around as well. Look at the beginning of the book of Amos, where Amos goes right round the clock addressing the Philistines and the Phoenicians, and then the nations of Moab and Ammon and Edom, all these surrounding nations. God had a plan for each one of them. And so, of course, it makes sense that Christians should be concerned about social justice. We know that God is a God of justice. He's deeply concerned about groups that can be exploited, like the widow and the orphan and the alien and the poor. And so Christians, in walking in the footsteps of Christ and in mirroring God's justice, should be involved in these things too. And that will mean caring for, providing for these people, meeting needs, visiting the prisoners and the sick and so on, feeding the hungry, doing what we call social action, but also social justice and social reform, addressing the unjust structures in society and the unjust laws in order that we can make our countries better places to live in and so bring glory to Christ. We know we'll never create heaven on earth, but part of being salt and light, part of being in the world and not of it, is that we're involved in the society in which we're placed and seeking its good.